is Rob, the Sapper Gardener, and today we're going to be starting some shiitake mushrooms. So I'm going to take you guys through with us as we do these, and normally what we try to do is actually start at night because the process does require a longer heating and cooling time for the spawn, but I was just too tired last night to get everything started, so we're starting early Sunday morning. It's about, I think, 8, so we'll do everything and then take you along the steps, and as it cools down we'll take you through, so it'll all make sense once we're done. And I do have to say, I always keep my instructions handy to make sure I don't miss a step or I fold something the wrong way. It's not a complicated thing, but you do want to make sure you get everything in order. So with that being said, I'll show you guys what we have here to work with and what we need to do. So we have a few basic ingredients, very few. So the shiitake mushroom grows on wood, hardwood. So we have some hardwood pellets, just the same type pellets that you would use if you were running a pellet grill. And we have wheat bran, and all these things I just went up to the Tractor Supply store to get, and we're going to mix those in a bucket. And once we mix those in together, we're going to add water and mix it up, dissolve it, and then once it's dissolved, we will be adding everything into the spawn bag. So we'll add everything into this. It has a little filter on it to, allow it to breathe, but to prevent other microorganisms from contaminating the spawn. So we're going to do all that, and the ratio that we use is, and I'll put all this up in the description below also. So for every 5-pound fruiting block, which will go in the bags we have, we will use 5 cups of hardwood pellets, 1.4 liters of water, and 1 1/4 cup of wheat bran. So we're going to be doing 3 bags today. That's what'll fit in one of our black trays. So we'll do that, and then maybe next week we'll do another 3 bags, and that'll use up the mushroom spawn that we have. So I'll bring you guys back again once I get it mixed. So we've got our bran spawn mixed in here with our pellets, and next we're going to add 4.2 liters of water in, and it may seem like a lot of water, but the wood pellets are going to absorb and expand, so it's really not that much. And again, this is for 3 5-pound fruiting blocks. You'll adjust your measurements depending on how much you want to do. You can do 1 block, you can do 20 blocks. So, and mushrooms are actually one of those crops that people say is a great cash crop, because you can grow a lot of mushrooms in a small space and sell them for a pretty good amount. So I'm going to mix this up real good, let it sit, and then I'll let you guys see what the final project looks like before we add it to our bags and throw it in the pressure canner. So we've got it all mixed, and it should have a consistency somewhat similar to oatmeal. So we're going to let this sit and let the wood pellets absorb it a little bit more, and then I'm going to divide it up into 3 equal portions in our grow bags, and we're going to get our canner set up, and then we'll bring you guys back for that. So we have our bags filled, and we made a last minute decision. Our canner will hold 4 bags comfortably. We have a 23 quart canner, so we added a little bit more of the substrate in, so we have 4 bags, and each bag weighs approximately 4.2 pounds. And once we sterilize these, then we'll add in our mushroom culture, which we'll take out to bring up to room temperature now. And by the time this is sterilized and cooled down, the mushroom spawn will be up to temp and it will be done. So we've got our bag, and each bag has a filter. We also use filter mesh to help prevent air from slipping in. When the bags cool down, it will shrink the bag a little bit, but it'll also try to draw in outside air, so you want to make sure you filter that as much as possible. So I'm going to take these up, we'll add them to the canner, and we will get to our next step. And we do have a bit of the substrate left, so this is just wheat bran and the wood pellets. So I'm going to probably add a little bit more water to that and throw that into our compost pile, so nothing goes to waste here on our home place. So, technical error on my part. I thought we had a 23 quart canner, but we actually have a 16 quart canner. So what we're going to do is we're going to do batches. We'll do one, let this cool, then we'll do another one tonight after we get this one ready. We'll let it cool overnight, and then I will prep that bag before I go to work in the morning, or Mrs. SG will prep it while I'm at work. So what you want to do is you want to put your bags in, it's folded down. We've got a piece of painter's fabric, painter's suit, I forget exactly what this is called, to help prevent excess air from going in and contaminating it. And we fill the canner up to right below the top of the bag. We don't want to cover the bag, we want it just below the top. And we're going to set this, and we're going to can this for a minimum of 2.5 hours, and then after that we'll let it cool down for 6 to 8 hours. Once it's cooled to room temperature, we'll add in our mushroom spawn, we'll set it on the shelf, and it will be ready to go. And we'll do our second batch once we get this first one done. So we'll be back in a few hours. Okay, so we've got our pressure canner set, and we're bringing it up to 15 psi. Once it's up at 15 psi, then we will let it sit for 2.5 hours. And it does seem like a long time, but you really got to sterilize the substrate, so that your mushroom spawn, when you put them in there, they're not competing with anything else. So this is our first batch, 2 bags. I thought we would be able to fit 4 in there, but apparently our canner is smaller than I thought. So, and actually I think I watched My Hillside Garden with Catherine, and I think she had mentioned she has a 23 quart canner. And I think that stuck in my mind while I was prepping everything, but we actually have a 16. So we'll do 2 bags, no biggie. We'll just have to do 2 batches. It's just such a long time to get everything ready, but once we've got it ready, we'll be good to go. You got anything to say? Oh, you got a Lego Happy Meal? All right, so we'll be back in a few hours. So our mushroom substrate has been sterilized for 2.5 hours, and now we're going to let it cool, and it says to let it cool at least 8 hours. So we have cooled it down. I'll probably let it cool a few more hours. It's around 6 now. So we'll probably let it cool to 8 or 9 o'clock and we'll check it, and if it feels like it's room temperature, then I'll go ahead and add the mushroom spawn. If not, we'll just cover it and we'll let it sit until tomorrow, and then we'll cover it then. And we'll bring you guys back as we add the spawn and go on to the next step. Actually, the final step. Alright, we got our bags cooled down and ready to go. So now I'm going to add in 12 ounces of the mycelium spawn into our grow bags. And I'm going to estimate with our cup, which is 4 ounces. So kind of clumpy, so it's still going to be an estimation. I'm not weighing anything out. I'm just going to estimate, and I may add a little more. Okay, that should be about 12 for that one. And then I'll add 12 for this one. And we're pressure sterilizing the other 2 bags that'll go in here later. And actually what I'll probably do, since I know we're doing 4 bags, well, no, I won't do that. I won't just overload it because there's only so much substrate for the mycelium to feed on, so I won't overload the bags too much. We'll save any extra because this mycelium, as long as you keep it refrigerated, should be good for a few weeks as long as you don't get it contaminated. So I'll tie this off. I'm going to tie these off with a zip tie or a bread tie. I'll shake the bags up and then they'll get stored on our grow shelf, and the temperature is perfect down here. It's probably 70 degrees, 68 degrees, so these will be fine. So I'm gonna zip tie these, shake them up. Actually, I can show you guys now. The shaking up part is pretty simple. You want to break up your spawn and just shake it up in there to get it mixed well. So I'll do that to those 2. Put them on the shelf and give you guys a closing shot. And now we have 2 Shiitake mushroom bags ready to go. So I'll tend to them. I'll give them a spritz every now and then to keep everything moist and just keep an eye on it. And they say it's important to have good airflow around the mushrooms, so I'll make sure we have that too, and just see how things go. Of course, they're getting a little air. It's not an airtight seal. And we've got the filter patch, this white thing here and here that allow airs to get in so the bag can breathe. But usually takes these longer than the oyster mushrooms, but it's worth it in the end because they're delicious. So as always, this is Rob, the Sapper Gardener, on behalf of Essayons Family Garden, the Sapper household. I want to say God bless everyone. It's a longer process, but it's, to us, it's worth it in the end to get the fresh mushrooms. So I'm sleepy. I just got up early. I gotta go take a shower and get ready for work. So I hope everyone has a blessed garden, blessed meals, and a blessed family. Take care. Sapper out.